Kuzangpla and welcome to yet another episode of the Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program. My name is Chiku, and the top stories this week: His Holiness the Jekempo appoints new principal of Kidekar Shedra in Monga. His Royal Highness Gese Jigme Namgye Wangchuk turns 5. And the country to have one tourist system in a few years in line with first tourism policy. Let's now take a look at details. His Holiness the Jekempo appointed the new principal of Kidekar Lungtok Chuki Gasel Shedra in Mongar on Tuesday. His Holiness conferred that to the newly appointed principal, 43-year-old Tsawang Gese, at Autso in Tlunsi. He started his monastic education from Mongar Rabde, and he then went to Ngatsang Tashichuling Shedra and received various teachings from numerous teachers. He graduated from Tango University of Buddhist Studies and also completed his 3-year retreat. Prior to his appointment, Tsawang Gese was the alum of Nganglam Dungkak in Pemakassel. His Royal Highness Gese Jigme Namgye Wangchuk celebrated his 5th birthday on 5th February. Cabinet ministers and other senior officials offered prayers and lit butter lamps to celebrate the day. Offerings were made at the Tashichozong, Semtokhozong, Wanditse, Dechipu and Jangangalaka. Thousands of butter lamps and prayers were also offered across the country. With change in time, usage of the English language is improving in most households. Meanwhile, the national language Dzongkha has remained stagnant, or some would say even diminished. To improve the proficiency and knowledge of Dzongkha in children, the Dzongkha Development Commission launched 14 Dzongkha rhymes, a Dzongkha animation movie, comic books, and a Dzongkha Unicode manual on Thursday.
The verses in the Dzongkha nursery rhymes are of Dzongkha alphabets, grammar, national dress, and the 4 seasons, among many. According to the Commission, many children know about these topics in English, but have less to no knowledge about them in Dzongkha. If we ask children about national dress, most don't know about it. It's the same about flowers and trees. If we ask them about colors, they can easily say it in English, but they don't know it in Dzongkha. Poor proficiency in Dzongkha has been one of the major problems even among adults. These days, with changes happening in the country, animated movies and rhymes are all available on the internet, and our children can also easily learn their language and culture. Now what we realize is that if we need to develop our own language, we need to use these kinds of techniques. All the rhymes and materials will be available for free on the Commission's YouTube channel and website. Samtin Dolkar, BBS News.
The Anti-Corruption Commission hopes to increase the country's corruption perception index's source by 2023. For now, with a corruption perception index score of 68, Bhutan currently ranks as the 24th least corrupt from 180 countries. And this is as per the report released by the Transparency International, a German non-governmental organization working to combat global corruption.
Considering the country's recent progress in the Corruption Perceptions Index 2020, ACC has further plans to improve its global ranking. They plan to do so by implementing the National Integrity and Anti-Corruption Strategy 2019 to 2023 diligently. The National Integrity and Anti-Corruption Strategy is a document which provides comprehensive and holistic perspective on preventing and combating corruption. The strategy was developed by ACC through rigorous consultation with all stakeholders, aligning it with the 12th Five-Year Plan and ensuring synergy with the developmental process.
Our target in the 12th Five-Year Plan is to increase the score to 69 by the end of 12th Five-Year Plan, and this is one of the key performance indicator for the 12th NKRE corruption reduced. The ACC is of the view that there are a lot that we need to do to increase this score. especially in terms of making sure that the national integrity and anti-corruption strategy is implemented diligently and with adequate resources. And then we need to also deploy technology in terms of how do we fight corruption, especially in terms of detecting bribery.
And aware of the roles of media and civil society organizations in promoting accountability, transparency and integrity, the Commission also met with the media fraternity today.
In contract management, in civic engagement, the media and civil society in Bhutan is little bit nascent, and there is much room for media and civil society to play in terms of fighting corruption and promoting accountability among the institutions, public institutions.
With the adoption of the ACC's Media and Communication Policy and Guidelines, the Commission ensures institutionalizing regular programs with media such as conferences, briefings, sensitizations and meetings. For now, Bhutan has significantly improved its ranking from 33 in 2012 to 24 today. It has also been continuously placed at 6th place for over 9 years among the countries in the Asia-Pacific region, making Bhutan the cleanest country in the SAARC region. This is Pasang Doji for BBS News.
Chilies have become a rare commodity to find in the market these days, and this has become a scene in all corners of the country. The Agriculture Ministry is hoping for the crisis to be solved in the coming months. However, they say the shortage can only be properly solved if people change their consumption habits and eat less chili.
With the second lockdown now lifted, people in Thimphu have started coming out and many are busy searching for green chilies. Despite the willingness to pay inflated prices, many say finding green chilies in the market has become very difficult.
I once caught small amount of green chilies for 500 Newton for 1 kg. Later, it soared to 800 Newton. So we have resorted to dry chilies.
It has been almost 2 months since green chilies ran out in the market. During the lockdown, getting even dried chilies was difficult.
Meanwhile, vendors shared that supply of green chilies from the source has become scarce due to limited production.
I managed to get around 20 kilograms of green chilies recently. I divided them with some of the other sellers, but it all got sold out in a short period of time.
Customers prefer green chilies to dried chilies, but when they learn that the stock is not available here, they get frustrated. But from our side too, we are helpless.
The Agriculture Minister says there is a good supply of green chilies as farmers are producing substantial quantities. However, he shared there is a shortage as Bhutanese people consume too much chilies.
We are not short of chili supplies. We have enough chili. The only thing is that we need to be a little careful with our consumption pattern. For Bhutanese, in our food culture, we consume a substantial amount of chili. We are so lavish in consuming chilies. We have chili curry, we have chili easy, and then again people want to have to go consume chili with salt. So in such nature, obviously the supply will not meet the demands.
However, he added the problem will be eased soon once chilies grown in the southern districts hit the market. Meanwhile, the ban on import of chilies from India is still in effect after it was found they had high chemical content in them. Choni Dama for BBS News.
To ease the traffic congestion and create more parking spaces in the town, Tongsa Dzongkhag administration has recently introduced a new parking system. And now vehicles are now allowed to park in the town area for only 20 minutes. However, business entities and cab drivers are complaining that this system is affecting their businesses.
Unlike in the past, people visiting town have to park their cars in the designated parking spaces and also leave their side indicator lights on. Drivers who fail to do so or leave their cars parked for more than the allowed duration are first warned by the traffic officials and then fined if not heeded to.
As the district administration restricted people from parking vehicles in the town premises, hoteliers and shopkeepers are getting affected. The number of customers has also decreased now. Some pass by without stopping here, so hoteliers here hardly earn any money.
Taxi parking is far from town. In order to get parking space to buy goods, we have to either travel to the outskirts of town or towards Shemgang to get a parking space. It's very difficult to get a place to park even if it's just for a few minutes because the town area is very small and traffic jams are another problem.
When we wait for passengers, our car batteries get drained. Some 3 or 4 people were also fined in front of me after they failed to keep the parking lights on. So such a system is causing inconveniences for us.
The Road Safety and Transport Authority recorded 5 offenders within a week for violating the new rule. However, the district administration says once the people are familiar with the system, there will not be any problem.
Lack of parking space in town existed for a long time. There is always the risk of accidents when visiting shops as the town area is very small and congested. To avoid such problems, we didn't allow people to park their cars in the core town area.
There are presently 2 parking areas in the town which can each accommodate around 10 vehicles. There are plans to construct more parking places.
Construction of 3 to 4 similar parking areas within the town is in the pipeline. Each will accommodate 9 to 10 vehicles. Once it is complete, the problem of poor parking space will be eased to a certain extent.
The Jongkok office also planned to construct a multi-storied car park a year ago. However, it was cancelled due to poor geography of the location. This is Pasa, BBS News, Tosa.
All tourists, regardless of nationality, will be required to pay a uniform daily package rate soon. The Tourism Council of Bhutan intends to achieve this through the tourism policy of Bhutan, which was approved by the cabinet recently. The Tourism Policy of Bhutan 2021 is the first documented tourism policy of the country. It will be guided by the existing policy of high value, low volume to ensure sustainable tourism.
As per the policy statement, the government intends to have a single tourism system by 2030. However, the Tourism Council of Bhutan plans to fast-track and implement the system within 3 to 5 years to manage the increasing number of tourists. According to the TCB, the tourism industry is currently not able to live up to the vision of high-value, low-volume policy, mainly because tourists are categorized into 2 standards, international and regional tourists. Regional tourists are those from Bangladesh, India and the Maldives. While the international tourists pay a minimum daily package rate ranging from $200 to $250, regional tourists are exempted from paying this. They pay a sustainable development fee of 1,200 Ngtam daily. As a result, more regional tourists visited Bhutan in the past years. According to TCB, of more than 300,000 visitors in 2019, regional tourists constituted close to 80%.
Because as of now, it appears as if we are discriminating, because those tourists who are paying this 250 or 200, the MDPR, they seem to be getting a VIP treatment. They have a dedicated guide, they have a SUV, they have a 3-star accommodation, so everything is taken care in a VIP style. Whereas our tourists coming from regional countries, because they are not paying such a tariff, and they are almost like on their own, and they don't get this good service. And we feel very bad as a GNH country, a policy based on GNH. We like to treat everyone the same. So therefore, to give the same treatment, we would also like them to pay the same thing.
The policy also intends to address other issues such as congestion at tourist sites, increased vehicle movement and safety of unguided tourists, and growing waste and environment problems.
through the tourism policy, the TCB plans to diversify tourism products beyond culture and trekking tours and make Bhutan a year-round travel destination. Currently, tourism in Bhutan is seasonal. Tourist visits peak during the months of April, May and October and drops to around 4% of the total arrivals during February and July. Pup KM for BBS News.
Close to 800 security forces are on guard every day along the 183-kilometer-long international border in Samtsi. Now, despite close vigilance, people have been trying to cross the border illegally to smuggle in drugs, alcohol and tobacco products. Since March last year, Samtsi District Court has convicted 113 such perpetrators to prison terms between 11 months and 16 years.
Among those jailed, one of the 5 arrested from Gomtu in July last year received the highest sentencing of 16 years and 6 months. His other accomplices were sentenced between 8 to 14 years. The 5 were charged with breach of border security protocols, criminal nuisance, breach of public order and tranquility, trafficking of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances, and tobacco distribution. The oldest amongst the lot, a 79-year-old man, was convicted for 3 years and 2 months. 2 minors, a male and a female, both aged 16, have been given 2 years prison time. Another 2 minors are currently under trial. Likewise, 4 Indian nationals, 2 men and 2 women, have been sentenced as well. The 2 men got a prison term of 2 years and 3 months and 4 years and 3 months respectively. While one woman got 10 years, the other was sentenced to 3 years and 9 months. Meanwhile, 24 convicts who were arrested for failure to report crime and whose prison term is below 11 months were released on payment in lieu of imprisonment. This year, January alone saw 4 arrests made for illegal border crossing. Sharab Doji, BBS News, Samtsi.
An underaged female construction worker at the mega dry port in Pasaka succumbed to injuries after metal roads collapsed and fell on her on Thursday. 9 other workers were also injured in the mishap. While 2 of them sustained fractures, the other 7 are reported to be in stable condition.
The incident happened at around 9:30 in the morning. Workers had been preparing to apply cement on the remaining 60 meters of a reinforced cement concrete wall which was under construction. The 17-year-old girl was one of 10 workers trapped under the road nets. According to the proprietor, the structure must have been weakened by yesterday's earthquake and caused the roads to fall. He said similar works were completed before without any problems. He also added that he was unaware the victim was underage as he had hired the workers through a labor contractor. He said he was in the process of filtering the recruitment process. Construction of the country's first mega dry port was inaugurated 2 weeks ago. For Sonam Penjo in Phensling, Sangeet for BBS News.
Around 9 Dantak workers are feared to have died after the 204-meter-long Wachu Bridge along the Damchuha Road collapsed on Tuesday afternoon. They were working on the bridge when the incident took place. Now, privately enrolled medical students in Sri Lanka have written to the Prime Minister requesting for an increase in the government's funding on its EPIMS program. EPIMS stands for Assistance to Privately Enrolled Medical Students. Through the program, selected students get financial assistance of 300,000 yutum annually. The students expressed a major need for revision in the financial aid.
The APEMS program started in 2009. In the letter signed by 60 APEMS recipient students studying in 4 universities across Sri Lanka, the students wrote that cost of studying has tripled. At the same time, funding remained stagnant at 300,000 yutum. Speaking to BBS virtually, students said they are making this request since most of them missed out on the full scholarship opportunity by decimal points and yet signed 14-year bonds to come back and work in Bhutan.
I was just a seat away from receiving the full scholarship, but unfortunately, due to the Dzongkha tiebreaker, I couldn't get into the full scholarship. And I feel that the other APMS students like me who have the marks that are required for the university, who have the capacity to get into the universities, they just, because of the fact that they can't cover up the expenses required, that's why they need to step back, and it's kind of unfair in that area.
At present, the dollar rates and the tuition fees have increased, but the amount 300,000 Newton remained the same, which is not even able to meet the tuition fees. I can see most financially disadvantaged students dropping out of college, even though they are capable, and are just behind the full scholarship students.
The students have requested for 70% of the full scholarship amount. The full scholarship recipients get an estimated $7,500 annually.
The bond signing was made the same as full scholarship students, since the APEMS students' tuition fees were covered along with some surplus amount for other expenditures. But with time, that 300,000 Newton is not able to meet the objective from 2009.
I do take responsibility when that I came with the decision that yes, I'm willing to bear the price. But for my side, what what I'm expecting is that the government can at least cover our tuition fees. That's the best hope that I have. Other than that, I feel like it would be like a bit too much of us to even demand more than that.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister's office is reviewing the request and will reach a decision soon. The opposition, in an email response to the students, has also given its assurance to support them. Sharab Doji, BBS News.
The Bhutan Olympic Committee hopes to allow the conduct of all sporting tournaments from next month. However, that will be possible only if the COVID situation remains the same. The committee temporarily deferred all tournaments in the country till the end of February to discourage unnecessary gatherings.
The notice released by the Prime Minister's office last month stated that all sporting activities would be allowed henceforth, but that there would be no tournaments. The decision left many sports federations and private sports organizers in the country worried.
To further develop football in the country, I've been organizing an open football tournament every year. Last year as well, I organized a tournament, but in the mid of the tournament, it had to be called off due to the second lockdown. And now, months have passed by and I have still not been able to resume the tournament.
We have to respect that decision, like I said, given the pandemic situation. But yes, it has affected our calendar schedule, the competition calendar schedule, where like by March we are supposed to start our Bhutan Super League, which is the second tier of the tournament, whereby the team that will qualify will go to the Bhutan Premier League, which is the elite the tournament. We start in April, so now I think we have to push back our tournament calendar, and also a lot of and we might have to rush to finish our tournament this year.
Likewise, the sports calendar for Basketball Federation of Bhutan has also been hampered, as they could only conduct one tournament last year. And now, if BOC gives the go-ahead, the Federation plans to start the annual Veteran Basketball Tournament soon. Having received several letters and calls to allow sporting tournaments, the Bhutan Olympic Committee says they are hoping to allow it from next month.
We have received 4 to 5 official letters from various organizers and federations asking about the resumption of various tournaments. We have responded to their concerns and told them why we have deferred the dates for the conduct of tournaments. However, we are preparing necessary documents related to the resumption of all tournaments, and if the COVID-19 situation improves, we will give the permission to conduct all kinds of tournaments from next month.
Due to the recent lockdown, the Bhutan Women's National Championship, BFF Club Futsal Championship, Thimphu Open Football Championship and the interdepartmental tournament organized by the RCSC had to be temporarily suspended and have not resumed yet. This is Bhutan Doji for BBS News.
And this brings us to the end of this edition of Bhutan This Week. Until next time, I'm Cheku, signing off only for now.
Thank you.